I am BK, your English teacher. Today I want to teach you guys very important topic. That's grammar lesson. That's direct, indirect in English. Let's go on the board. Direct, indirect. Now see here, what is direct, what is indirect? Direct means if we are quoting someone's words spoken by someone, directly putting them into inverted commas or quotation marks. And in indirect speech, we change the words but remain the meaning the same. So come here, see here, direct speech repeats the spoken words. We put the words spoken in quotation mark or reported speech. There is a reporting speech, there is a reported speech. So some basic formulas are there. I want to teach you guys some basic things that how do we change direct speech into indirect speech. So first of all, there are some hints. See it here. Tomorrow changes into next day. Today changes into that day. Okay, say and tell. Now where we use say and where we use tell, use say when there is no direct object and tell when there is direct object. I will go in detail with the examples a little bit later. Before I go into the details with the examples, I want to clear some things first. Okay, say and tell, use say when there is no object, indirect object, and tell if there is indirect object. Tell and speak. Where do we use, sorry, not tell, that's talk. Talk and speak. Where do we use talk and speak? Use these verbs in communicating. For example, we are, okay, I am not going into the examples right now because I have to explain some other things, but just to hear communicating. We use talk and speak, these verbs in communicating. And in question we use ask. We use ask in the reporting speech. If or whether, know that in questions. We remove that if there is interrogative sentence. So in the reported speech, we remove that. Okay, interrogative reported changes into affirmative. Very nice. If there is an interrogative sentence, so we remove that and we change the reported question part of the sentence into affirmative sentence, into a simple sentence. We remove its interrogation. This is another in here. This is WH question. No use of if or whether, as we are using if or whether in just a question, interrogative sentence. If there is WH question, so we don't use if or whether and we put that again. Okay, now here are some examples. One other clearance, every sentence of direct speech, if we change into indirect speech, so it goes one step back. Present indefinite into past indefinite, present continuous into past continuous, present perfect into past perfect, past simple into past perfect into past perfect, and so on. This is the way. Now we go to a little bit explanations it here. As it's done, it is clear. Now, first of all, there is tomorrow and today. We go there. This is, okay, one other thing I wrote here. The reporting part or the reporting part of direct speech is mostly in present indefinite or in past indefinite. The reported part of, once again, the reporting part of direct speech is mostly in present indefinite or in past indefinite. Okay, now there is tomorrow and the next day. See here, he says, I am going or leaving, I am going to London tomorrow. Now, see here, tomorrow changes into next day. There is an example of tomorrow. See here, he says, I am going to London tomorrow. Now, how do we change this into indirect speech? He says, see here, he says that. Now we say because there is no indirect object. If there were indirect speech objects, so we change says into tell. There is no indirect speech. Okay, he says that I am going to London tomorrow. That he, I changes into he, that he was, am changes into was, going to London. Now, tomorrow changes into, like I told you here, next day. That he was going to London the next day. The next day. The next day. See here, I said tomorrow changes into next day. He says, I am going to London tomorrow. So now there is tomorrow. We are changing tomorrow into the next day. He says that he was going to London the next day. Okay, now that's clear. Now there is today changes that day. See here, today changes into that day. Okay, he said, I am learning my lesson now we are talking about, yes, today. Today. See here, he said, this is past indefinite, I am learning my lesson today. Now we change today into what? We change today into that day. See here, I said, I was learning my lesson, but we put here he to make more clear. He. Okay, here is also he. He said that he was learning. He said that he was learning. He was learning his lesson. Today changes into that day. Learning his lesson that day. That day. These are some things we need to clear, that some things changes into indirect speech. So we are gonna make them clear and to understand. Okay. The other thing is say and tell. Use say when there is no indirect object, tell if there is. Now see here, she said to me. She said to me, she lost her cat See here, she said to me, she lost her cat. Now, me is indirect object. If there is indirect object, like we says, they use say when there is no indirect object, tell if there is indirect object. Now, me is indirect object. We change said into tell. She told. Said change into told because there is an object, direct object. She told me that she lost. I can speak is done. Now in question we use ask instead of said. If or whether, know that in questioning. If there is interrogative sentence, there is no that. We put just if or whether. Okay? Have like interrogative reported changes into affirmative. If there is no WH questions, so the interrogative reported speech changes into affirmative. Have like see it here. We make here a place. We are done about this. For example, number 1, he says, do I like to go with them for a picnic tomorrow? See here, we change tomorrow into other day. Next day. Next day. We change tomorrow into next day in indirect speech. Now, he says, he asked. He asks. Now here, do I like to go with them for picnic tomorrow? Now we change this interrogative sentence into affirmative sentence. This is the rule. Do I like to go with them for a picnic tomorrow? Now we put here if or whether. We can put one of them, either if or whether. If I liked, because we change like into liked, it's present indefinite, we change into past indefinite. It is the rule. We go one step back in tenses. Whether I liked to go with them for a picnic next day. Tomorrow got changed into next day, and the question, the interrogative sentence became just affirmative sentence, a simple sentence. Remember, we always change the interrogative sentence into affirmative sentence, but this is a simple case. If there is WH question, then we cannot change it like this, and then we don't put if or whether, we just put that it there. He says, do I like to go with them for a picnic tomorrow? Now here he asks if or whether, one of them. I liked to go with them for a picnic next day. Next day is for tomorrow, okay? That's fine. See here, WH question. We have got WH questions like where, why, who, when, what, and so on. So now, he said to me, why did the boy break I'm not reaching the cup. Now see here. If he says that, why did the boy break the cup? We can say no, yes. This is not no, yes answer. This needs a proper answer. That's why we don't put here if or whether in the reporting speech in indirect, but we put that, and we can change the question sentence because this remains the same. Now, there is to be. This is indirect object. If there is indirect object, we change said. We change said into tell, but there we change this again into ask because this is interrogative sentence. He asked me that. Why did the boy break the cup? That why the boy broke the cup. Why the boy broke the cup. Now the sentence became affirmative and break changed into broke. Noted. Why the boy broke the cup. Why the boy broke the cup. That's okay. Okay, now some things need to be clear. If there is reporting speech or indirect speech, we are not putting the words same to same as the word speaker spoke. We change the words, but we don't change its meaning. The other thing, there are some examples. We go back one step in tenses, in SVO formula. This is the basic thing for what? The basic thing for indirect speech. If there is present indefinite, we go into past indefinite. If there is present continuous, we go into past continuous. If there is present perfect, we go into past perfect. If there is present simple, past simple, we go into past perfect. It is if there is past perfect, we go into past perfect. If there is past continuous, we go into past perfect continuous. This is the basic formula. Like see here, he says, I play hockey. This is report speech. He says that he plays hockey. He said to me. Now me is indirect object. He said to me, I am eating lunch. He told me that he was eating lunch. Now I am here, he was. We changed I am into he was because now we are talking about him. We put here his words same like he said, but in indirect speech we don't put the words, we change the words. He said, I was very intelligent when I was a child. Now he is telling some things about his childhood. We change this into indirect speech. He said that he had been very intelligent when he was a child. He said, who did break the glass? He asked that who had broken